Dragoon Toby is gonna bring it.
What's going on, guys? Today I am bringing you something a little different from my typical video game features, as we are immersing ourselves into the dark world of Hellblade. Now, this indie AAA game was developed by Ninja Theory. Remember that reboot of Devil May Cry back in 2013? Well, one of their teams worked on this amazing game. So, on to the plot. The story revolves around Senua. She's a Pict warrior undergoing a severe state of psychosis as a result of dealing with the loss of her lover, who died from being blood-eagled by Norsemen. Now, I've watched 5 seasons of Vikings, and let me tell you, that death punishment, it's pretty intense. Oh, and her mom was also burned alive, so you can imagine the immense psychological trauma that's built up on her. So, fast forwarding to the current events, she goes on a quest to Helheim with the belief that she can rescue her lover's soul by taking his severed head. It's kind of strange, but it's a Celtic belief that the head stores a person's soul or something. And Senua plans to bargain with the goddess of Helheim to free his soul, so that's the basic gist of the plot. Now, check this right here. From the get-go, Senua already breaks the fourth wall by being aware of your presence, and I think that just makes the game all the more engaging. Don't you agree? So, to open the gates of Helheim, you must beat 2 guardian bosses along the way. Alright, let's first take a look on Surt, who kinda resembles a Norse version of Silent Hill's Pyramid Head, carries a huge flaming sword. You do not want to get hit by it. So Senua dodges Surt's heavy attacks and eventually vanquishes the shit out of him. What a badass. Just check that out. Damn, son! Alright, on to the next guardian boss, Valravn. Reminds me of that woodland spirit from Witcher 3. This one dual wields 2 sickles, kinda like the ones the Dothraki use, and is much faster than Surt, literally moves like the wind when it faces in and out of battle. But nevertheless, because Senua was a badass, she beats the shit out of him. GG boy! Also, just wanted to point out this life-saving focus ability you have, which slows time. It's given me a breather in overwhelming situations during my playthrough, and I'm sure a lot of casual gamers are grateful this feature has been embedded in Hellblade. Speaking of features, there are a few puzzles incorporated here and there, traversing through different dimensions to reveal new paths, lining up things to resemble rune shapes, but they're all pretty straightforward. I'm just glad it's not as complex as Payday 2's final Easter egg, cause not only do you have to constantly defend against the darkness, but you must decode ancient runes and cycle through 3 layers within the circle to solve 4 riddles before finally opening the seal. Let's just say it took some commitment. Luckily in Hellblade, you just have to look at the runes to activate them. In this case, each rune then unfolds a different lore in Norse mythology, which I'm enticed to learn because I played Ragnarok back in the days. The devs created a new one called Tree of Savior, for those of you who are feeling nostalgic. But anyways, let's tackle further on Senua's journey. While I have to admit the combat against mobs gets repetitive at some point, there's never a dull moment in the environment as you traverse through Helheim. One moment you're in the classic representation of hell with all the tormented souls. In another instance, you descend into a dark well while your vision is impaired, bypassing a bunch of deformed monstrosities. Heck, there's even a section where you must pass through an underwater cave, and the moment your light source gets extinguished, the darkness immediately presses on to consume you. Like, what is this, Alan Wake? Come on! So, towards the end of the game, before reaching the final boss, you must face one last guardian. Upon the initial encounter, Senua does the opposite and attempts to run away, and through the process drops her lover's head. So, she now has to descend to the bottom of the pit to retrieve it. Now, you guys have seen the size of that thing. I don't think any regular weapon can beat it. However, backtracking around 2/3 of the journey, Senua was actually stranded at a beach. She had to complete some trials to make her worthy of pulling the sword Grammar. Oh yeah, the Norse Excalibur for the win! Now, legend says this god-slaying sword was used to kill the dragon Fafnir. If it can vanquish a legendary dragon, I'm sure it's enough to take down the guardian wolf of the underworld. So once Senua finally hits the depths of the pit, she musters the courage to fight Garm. Senua fearlessly charges towards the beast, and I really enjoy that spinning attack she does. I attempted it once for a Just Do It meme story about some hole in the wall. It was weird, but it was about seeing things differently, which is kind of relatable in this context. Anyways, going back, I feel like the game really did a good job at developing and unfolding Senua's character. There are moments where she's scared and times where she gains a bolstered amount of bravery. Also, that use of a pale doppelganger to embody a physical representation of her self-doubt, that was pretty cool. I mean, the constant ups and downs tells us that she's human and subject to flaws, which I believe just makes the experience more real, so to speak. Alright, so finally drawing closer to the end of the journey, it's time to finally confront the goddess of Helheim, Hela. Now, you don't actually get to fight her in combat, and you'll find out why soon enough. But what does happen is that you're locked into an infinite mob battle where you'll eventually be overwhelmed. Through the ending cutscene, you'll find out that Hela, all this time, was actually Senua. The dual-tone body, at least in my opinion, depicts another physical representation of her split or distorted views. Again, one of Hellblade's main theme is tackling on psychosis. So when she drops her lover's head, I think it was an act of acceptance over her loss and grief. But here's the thing, we don't actually see Hela's form vanishing away. As the camera pans up, it just snaps back to Senua, which could imply that the darkness is still there, but she somehow learns to take control of it. And that concludes our story. To the ones who've played the game, I definitely want to know about your opinions, so leave it down at the comment section below. I really hope this game gets a sequel. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.